So, welcome to my 2026 living room setup. So I don't think I've ever done a proper living room setup. So this is the first time I think that I'm gonna be doing this. It's not gonna be a really long video. It's nothing extravagant. Obviously I have my dedicated home theater. That's just, that's where I do most of my movie watching, but I do occasionally watch TV out here. So we're gonna get right into it. So for my speakers, you might notice these. I reviewed these last year, I believe. These are the JTR 210 HTs. So this is a two-way speaker and it is a sealed enclosure and it has two 10-inch woofers with a compression driver. So I absolutely love these speakers. So I've had these for a while. I originally reviewed them in my home theater as an LCR. And the reason why I only got 3 is because I literally don't have room in my home theater to review a complete setup. So my room is only 10 feet wide and I've got 8-foot ceilings. So I don't have room to review like 7 of these or 9 of these. So Jeff sent me these 3 and I reviewed them as an LCR. Just absolutely instantly fell in love with them. Immediately, these things don't play super low. Obviously you want to pair a sub with them. And as far as frequency response, let me tell you what the frequency response is. So yeah, the frequency response is 60 hertz to 20 kilohertz, and it's got a 95 decibel dB, and with the recommended amplification of up to 2000 watts RMS. So 60 hertz, so yeah, these aren't gonna play crazy low. However, when I swapped out my Arendal speakers, I immediately noticed that there was a little more punch in the bass, just a little more deeper sounding. I love these speakers. If I was starting over in a home theater, starting from scratch, I would strongly consider going with these for all my base layer speakers, whether that's 7 or 9 speakers. Obviously, I would have to have the space for it. I would need a much wider room and taller room because these things are massive. And when I had these as my LCR, there really wasn't very much separation from the top of the speaker to my height speaker. So, it was fun reviewing these, but yeah, I just don't have the space for them. Now they've got the Kalos line, so I was considering that at some point, and maybe I'll review those. But after I got done reviewing them, I decided to move them out here into the living room, and it's been a much needed improvement. So before, I was just using my TV speakers, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. And obviously I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a massive echo. I have an open floor plan. It's, living room / kitchen, dining area. So the sound in here is just absolutely horrible. And when I went to a receiver and these JTR 210s, HTs, instant upgrade. So unfortunately, I do have to send these back. I do not get to keep these. At some point, I will be sending them off back to JTR or to another reviewer, I'm not sure. But yeah, these things are absolutely awesome. You've got your magnetic grills with the speakers and everything. So yeah, I know you guys love your JTR. I love these. I wish I could keep them, but who knows, maybe at some point, if I ever build another home theater again, starting over, I'm strongly gonna be considering JTR 210 HTs. Next up is the TV. So this is the Hisense U7. So I reviewed this back in 2024, I believe. And Hisense has just been killing it, man. I love Hisense TVs. This is the U7, so you get your 4K, you've got Dolby Vision, HDR, just absolutely incredible. You've got your Google user interface, Google TV, and this thing has been stellar. So this is a 65-inch. I could probably go bigger, but that's what they sent me, to review, and I did get to keep it. So 65-inch TV, this thing has been amazing. And like I said, I'm not gonna go too deep into this because I already reviewed this, but yeah, it served me well out here. Beautiful picture, beautiful image. And yeah, there's not really a whole lot else to say, but you know, I love Hisense TVs. I have the U8 in my bedroom, also 65-inch. That is the 2025 version. This is the 2024 version. So Hisense U7, I'll try to leave a link in the description for everything if it's available. Right underneath that is the WiiM Amp Ultra. So this is my first experience with a WiiM, and I absolutely love this thing. This thing is absolutely just incredible what you can do with it. You know, it can power these JTRs. I'll go to a little bit more in depth about this, but I do want to say a big thank you to our friends over at Max Borges Agency for sending this out to me for review. So if we take a look at the WiiM app, you've got a bunch of different tabs. So at the top, you've got your favorites, browse, devices, search, and more. So over here on your favorites, you know, you can see your recently played, your tracks that have been recently played. So you can link this to, you know, Amazon. You can link this to Cowboy, you know, all the streaming services, which you'll see. But you can see your artists here, music albums. This is obviously from Amazon. So if I wanted to play something, you know, I could click on any one of these. You have your albums that are from my, or some of the content that's from my server. But so these are your favorites, and then you have presets up here that you can do. If you click on see all, you can, you know, name your presets however you want to customize it. You have your volume controls, follow current volume, set current volume. You've got your audio input, so you can do over Ethernet, Bluetooth, HDMI ARC, line in, or optical. And then your audio output, you can do follow current output or speaker output. You've got your sub out if you want to connect the sub to this. I don't have mine connected to the sub. Mine are connected to the JTR speakers, so you know that's good enough. And then you have your EQ. So you have a bunch of different EQs that you can choose from over here on your under your graphic EQ. You can choose to follow current EQ off or on, and then you see all these different EQs. So if you're listening to, you know, classic music, dance, hip hop, jazz, you've got all these different presets that you can choose from, rock, R&B, all that good stuff. And then you can choose your preset duration. So if we go to browse, you have a bunch of options here. So under your source inputs, you can select from Ethernet, Bluetooth, HDMI ARC, line in, or optical. I have mine connected to Ethernet. That way, you know, I don't have to worry about any type of interference. I get the fastest speeds, and you know, I can connect this to my Plex server. So under my library, you know, you can do your favorites there, stuff, my music. So if I go to my music, if I click on my iPad, it'll show me all the music that I have from the iTunes store, or if I've synced this to my computer. And then, you know, if I want, I can play any of these songs. I can go to artists. I can sort by artist. So if I wanted to go to Low Pro, I can click on that, and then I can click on that, and it'll start playing on the WiiM pretty much instantly. And then you get your album art and the progress bar on the screen itself. So if we go back, I can sort by composers, genre, tracks, playlists if I create a playlist. So these are the playlists that I've created on basically on my phone, and obviously, you know, it's synced through, you know, iTunes, but these are my playlist that I have there. And then you have your music services that you can choose from. So you see you've got all these different options: Amazon Music, BBC Radio, iHeart, Deezer, Pandora, Plex, Qobuz, Tidal. So if I click on Plex, should load up my Plex server, so I'll have to sign in. So then I can select my music library. So music, hit next. And then you can see it automatically connects to my Plex server on my computer over the network. So you've got all my artists here. You get the artist art, all that good stuff. So you can sort by artists, click on artists, you know, you've got all your songs there, you've got all the info, just like you would on your phone with Plex. I can sort by albums. So all my albums are over here. If I want to click on Alice in Chains, listen to something. You can sort by tracks, playlists, collections, all that good stuff. You've got your recently added music in Plex. So I mean, this just works amazing, and you can see it's pretty snappy. So these are all the music services, streaming music services. If you want to, if we go over to devices, it's going to show me that, you know, this is playing right now on my device. If I had more WiiM amps, then obviously those would show up there. I only have one. And if I want to hit search, I can search. Let's see. So if I want to do Linkin Park, so it's going to show all the results for Amazon Music, Amazon My Music. If I have some stuff downloaded, it's going to show Qobuz, local music, Plex. So if I click on Plex, then you'll see all the tracks, albums that I have on my server. If we click on more, you've got all your app preferences here. You've got your firmware updates. You've got your, you know, your forums, all that good stuff. This is my first foray into WiiM Amp Ultra, and I absolutely love this thing. This is amazing for streaming your content, whether it's on, you know, a streaming service or your local network. Typically, you know, I just stream over the network, or I use my music library from iTunes, all the stuff that I have downloaded or synced to my phone, and then I just go and I pick the, you know, the device that I want, which is the WiiM Amp Ultra. I have the WiiM Amp connected to my JTR speakers, and it's been flawless. And it has enough power to power, you know, my JTR speakers for the left and right, so stereo. And yeah, this thing is just absolutely amazing. I'm a huge fan now. You know, when friends come over, if I want to just put on some ambiance, some music, some light music, or if I want to just rock out by myself while I'm cooking, while I'm working out, or whatever, if I'm doing something in the living room, you know, I can just ease of use and excellent audio quality. Obviously, if you have, you know, something like Qobuz, or you have a different streaming service that does high quality streams, you know, uncompressed, you're gonna get the best quality sound. So yeah, man, amazing piece of device. I highly recommend this if you guys want to, you know, basically you're all in one. It's gonna provide power to your speakers. If your speakers, you know, obviously if it's powerful enough to power your speakers, I would assume that this would be powerful enough to power most speakers that people have, you know, especially if you're just doing casual listening. And then, you know, ease of use, it connects to all of your services. It's a one-stop shop. You really don't have to worry about anything else. So yeah, WiiM Amp Ultra, I'll leave links in the description if you want to pick this up, check it out. And then controlling my system, I have the Harmony Ultimate 1, I believe. So still using Harmony, still alive and kicking. Thankfully, it hasn't died on me yet. The battery hasn't died. I'm still using this. I still love Harmony products. I wish they wouldn't have stopped making remotes. And I'm sure if they were at this point in 2025, they probably, whatever new product they would have had would have been just absolutely incredible. But these things are solid. I have the Elite in my home theater that I'm still using. I've got a couple other remotes that I'm currently reviewing, but this has still served me very well. You know, these things, they're great. You know, you don't really have any issues with it. Their database was incredible. You know, anytime any new products came out, it wasn't very long until Harmony updated it. So I have the remote, and then I have the hub under there. But yeah, I don't know. I probably would continue to use this unless this thing at some point dies. I don't even know if you can find the batteries for these anymore. So if it dies, then I'm probably gonna be screwed. I'll probably have to find something else. I may try to find, you know, a battery somewhere. But Harmony remote. And then under that, I have a IKEA cadenza. I don't remember the exact name for this. Bought this a couple years ago. Originally was going to use this out in my garage that I'm still building, my studio. Don't know when that's going to happen. Life happens, and I want to say it's been almost 3 years, if not 3 years, since we started on that. And originally I was going to use that out there, but since I wasn't using it, and when I got these speakers, I was like, I need something that's a little bit lower, because what I had out here before was something that me and my dad made, and it was much taller. And in order to fit these JTR speakers, these massive JTR speakers underneath the TV, I had to go with something much lower. So I just decided to bring out this IKEA, TV stand, whatever it's called. IKEA makes some really good stuff. So that is the stand. On the right, my right, I have a Apple HomePod Mini. So for those of you that don't know, or for those of you that do know, I do talk about, smart homes here on the channel. Haven't talked about it in a while, but I have a complete Apple ecosystem. My smart lightings, my smart lights, I can control pretty much everything in my house that's connected to the internet. So, that's my lights, my door lock, my shades, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. Love HomeKit. Love the Apple HomePod Minis. Have a couple of those. I need to get one for the home theater. So that's that. And then inside of the IKEA TV rack, whatever it's called, I have a Zidoo Z20, and as you can see here, got the Zidoo. So I've got this connected to my server in my office. All of my movies that are on my movie server are connected over the network, and I can access any one of these and watch it throughout the house. So I've got a couple of Zidoos. I have the Z20 here. I have the Ultra HD 8000, as that's their flagship. I have that in my home theater. Love Zidoo products. Zidoo products are absolutely amazing. So if you don't know what Zidoo products are, they're basically like 4K media streamers, 8K media streamers. So if you're somebody that buys a lot of movies, you've got Blu-rays, 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays, DVDs, CDs. If you rip them and store them on a NAS, hard drive, computer that's connected to your local network, you can access all of those files through the Zidoo. And it's pretty simple. If you're familiar with Plex, it's basically kind of the same thing, but just much more functionality. So, with Plex, you don't get like 3D, you don't get a dedicated player. You have to basically download the software onto a computer. So, you have to invest maybe a little bit more as far as computer, hard drives, and all that stuff. With the Zidoo, like the Z20, this one has a hard drive bay. I can buy an 8 terabyte hard drive, 12 terabyte hard drive, copy all of my movies onto there, stick it in there, and I can also access my files over the network. And then I basically have like my own Netflix that I can stream throughout the house. As long as I have however many Zidoos I have, I can access the same, files. So love Zidoo. Right below that, I still have my Opp BDP 103. So I still use that thing. I don't use it as often. I don't really use it to watch movies, but I still have it. It's still alive and kicking. Obviously the apps that are on there are just absolutely horrible. Some of them, they don't even support them anymore. I don't really use the apps on there. I basically just use it to connect to like music sometimes over the network. And even that was always kind of buggy, but still alive and kicking. I have the UDP 205 or 203 in my home theater, so I'm probably never ever gonna sell those things. These things are built like a tank. I think they're still some of the best 4K Blu Ray players on the market. Obviously this is a Blu Ray player, the predecessor to the 200 series, but yeah, it still works. Still get 3D, still get Blu-rays and all that stuff. Like I said, I don't remember the last time I actually put a Blu-ray in this one, the 103, but it's still alive and kicking. Underneath that, I have a Marantz Cinema 60 that I've had for a couple years, and I'm using that to power my 3 JTR speakers. So this was basically my first foray into Marantz, and you know, Marantz is basically the flagship over Denon, same company. But yeah, works great. Obviously I only have 3 speakers, so I'm not really utilizing it like I could, but yeah, it does everything that I need it to do. Gives me great audio. I can get video, I can get, you know, whatever I need. I can stream music over the network to this thing. It's got AirPlay, and yeah, so if I ever decide to get like a full 5.1 surround setup in here, it's already ready to go. But I'm just using the internal amps and that thing, and it served me well. Next to that, I have the Revolution Player Pro 8K. So obviously I don't really have it hooked up to the TV right now because I'm using the Zidoo, but I can easily just switch over, unplug the HDMI from the Zidoo and plug it into the Revolution player. And the thing is, what's weird is it uses the exact same remote codes for the Revolution and the Zidoo. Like when I turned on the Zidoo, it turned on the Revolution. So yeah, it's pretty great. It's got 2 internal hard drive bays that I can stick hard drives in. I believe these can go up to like something like 24, something like that. I know they were supposed to be updated. I don't know if it's been updated yet, but Revolution, I reviewed a couple of those, I believe. So I have that one, and then I have the Mini in another room, but it basically does the same thing as the Zidoo. They're both pretty much identical. The Revolution does a few things a little bit better than the Zidoo, and then the Zidoo does a few things better than the Revolution. My player of choice is the Zidoo. I've had extensive time with both of them, and for me, I just prefer the Zidoo. But like I said, there's both positives and negatives depending on what your needs are. And what it really comes down to for me is the interface. Not a really big fan of the Revolution interface and, you know, having to connect to the cloud and stuff like that. I know they have like offline play and support now, but yeah. Below that, I have a Panasonic that is an M300 PM. So I used to have this in my home theater, and I was gonna sell it, and I said, you know what? It's nice to always have some extra outlets. So I'm basically just using this to protect some of my equipment, but also to give me some more outlets. And yeah, not a whole lot to say about that. It served me well. And then on the other side, I've got a TP-Link Ethernet switch that I'm using. I'm a big believer in connecting everything to Ethernet if you can. Everything in my house is connected to Ethernet unless it's like doesn't have an Ethernet connection. So, you know, my cell phone, my iPad, you know, stuff like that. Pretty much everything else is hardwired to the Ethernet just because I have gigabit internet, and I just want the fastest, most reliable connection to all of my equipment. And then over here, I have a AudioQuest PowerQuest 3. So my TV is connected to that. Pretty much everything in here, my TV, the receiver, and, you know, coming from the wall, the outlet from the wall into that. So pretty much everything is connected to that power conditioner. Make sure you protect all your equipment. Obviously, I know some of you guys are gonna have something to say about AudioQuest with their cables. It's very contradictory. However, this is just a power conditioner. I don't think people are gonna complain about that stuff. You know, I'm not doing anything crazy. I don't have any like crazy PowerQuest cables. I just have it so that I can protect my equipment, because in Houston, we have a horrible power grid, and at any point in time, the power could go out due to a storm, wind, or just random power outages. So all this stuff costs money. I want to make sure that it is protected. And then on the back wall, I have some acoustic panels from Tonin. Not a real big fan of the design. They sent those to me for free. I'm using some of their solid colors, I believe gray, in my home theater. And then they sent me 2 of these kind of like as a gift. And I was like, I don't want these in my theater. So I just decided to put them out here since, you know, I have such a bare wall. And, you know, every little bit helps. So again, I am a big proponent of having a smart home. And one of the newest additions to my smart home is these smart blinds by SmartWave. So first of all, big shout out to SmartWave for sending out these blinds for me to review and to keep. So before, I had some blinds, just some manual blinds, and I always hated them. You know, your standard blinds with the little twist, you know, stick that you open and close the blinds. And I always hated them because it always let so much light in. I didn't really have control. Even though the blinds were closed, it let in way too much light. And during the day, if I'm trying to watch TV, it just always, you know, drowned out anything that I was watching on TV. And I had zero control over the lighting situation in here. So I have 3 windows. I'm not going to show you all 3 because they're basically the same. But I reached out to them and asked them if they'd be willing to send me some of their shades for review. So they did that. I did pay for 1 shade. They sent me 2 for free, just for disclosure. And then I paid for a 3rd shade with some accessories. So I wanted something that I could black out. And if you go to their website, I'll leave a link in the description. They have tons and tons of options for smart blinds. I chose the blackout blinds, and obviously it's dark outside now, but the only light that comes in is right here on the side. And I did also get these, I forget what they're called, but basically I can black out the whole entire window seal. I didn't put them up because I don't think I really need it. But what's cool about these blinds, smart blinds, is that they are also Matter compatible, which means you can add them to your smart home of choice. So whether that's HomeKit, Google, I'm sure Smart Things, you know, Alexa, Amazon, whichever one you have, as long as it's compatible with Matter, you can add them to whichever smart home choice that you want. And that's really important to me because I wanted something that I knew was going to be able to be integrated with my smart home, with my Apple ecosystem. So again, I have 3 blinds, and I don't know if you could see it, but when I took the measurements and sent it to them, I kind of messed up just a little bit as far as the width. So when I got them, they didn't fit, and I went, oh no. But me and my dad fixed it. We had to cut into the wall a little bit. I have to fix it up right now. It looks a little bit janky. It's not going to stay like that, but it is what it is. So you can control these blinds a couple of ways. I have the remote here, and then I'll also show you how it works with my smart home automations, and then, you know, with voice commands. So if I press this remote, you've got up, down, plus, negative, and pause. So if I hit the up button, and again, I have 3 blinds, so I'm not going to show you all of them because it's basically the same. And they're all in sync. So open up the blinds, stops. If I go down, press the down button. And if I want to pause it at any point, I can hit the pause button and it's paused. So maybe if I'm doing something in the living room, in the kitchen, and I'm like, you know what, I want a little bit of light in, I can go to whichever length I want, go back down, I can hit pause again. And again, it's controlling all 3 of my blinds, and I can also individually control whichever one blind I want, but it has different channels, and right now I'm on the 0 channel, which controls all 3. And then if I want to switch over to just one, then I can do that. But I can go back up. Again, if I want to go halfway, if I want to go a little bit more, hit pause. And then if I just hit back down, it's going to go all the way back down to the window sill. So I'm super glad to have not only smart shades or blackout blinds, but also smart shades that I can control with my remote or with my phone. So let me show you how that works with HomeKit. Okay, so I already have the blinds integrated into my Apple ecosystem, and it's pretty easy. So on the bottom, let me actually show you. If I go up, so on the bottom, I believe in one of these corners, you'll see there's a QR code there. You scan that QR code. Basically what you'll do is you'll hit the plus button, you'll go to add accessory, and then you'll scan that QR code. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. Let me put these blinds back down so my neighbors aren't like, what are you guys doing over there? And then you would scan the QR code. And if you're familiar with Apple HomeKit, it's going to go through its little process. It's going to find it, and then it's going to say, please wait. And then once you find it, you can name the blind. So I have 3 blinds. So I have the front blinds, the rear blinds, and the middle blinds. So right now I have the middle blind, or I'm standing in front of the middle blind. And if I want, right now it's showing that it's closed. I can open it to 53% open with my phone. And I don't know if you can hear that, but right now it's only controlling the one. So right now it's 52% open. And then if I want to control it with my voice, I can say, hey Siri, close the middle blinds. And then you'll notice it shows close in my Apple HomeKit, and then it's closing it. Or I can say, hey Siri, open the middle blinds to 75%. And then you'll see it shows 75% open, and it'll open to 75%, and then it will stop. And then if I want to close it, I'll just go all the way down. Shows closed, and then it's going to go down. So super simple, super easy. I don't think I can ever go back to having standard blinds. I still have standard blinds in my office and in my bedroom. And at some point I'm going to swap them all out, and I'm definitely going to go with SmartWave. And then if I want to create like a scene, so let me go to my scenes here. So if I scroll over, I have a scene that says close the blinds. And then, so obviously I can create one that says open the blinds. I have one that just says close the blinds because I don't really have them open very much. But if I wanted to, I could go to scene, I could add a scene, call it open the blinds, check, add accessories, and these are in my living room, so we'll go find them. So here are my 3 blinds. We'll hit check, and then I want to set them to open Okay, we're going to add to home view. We're going to hit the check mark. Oh, I think I already have those. I already have that. Let's see here. Yeah. So I already have I forgot that I already created the scene open the blinds there. But I did just show you just how to, create that if you want to. So basically what I can do here is I can click on that, and it's going to activate that scene. So you'll notice that it stopped, and that's because if I open the scene, you'll see that I have all the blinds to open at 50%. And obviously I can change that to 60%, 75%, 100% if I wanted to. That's just what I set the scene to, because I don't want to open the whole blinds to 100% when I'm in here, because it gets super bright, but at least I can let a little bit of light in. And then again, if I want to control it with my voice, hey Siri, close the blinds. And then you'll see in the app, it activates the scene. So SmartWave, I haven't had any issues since I've gotten these installed. I love these things. Like I said, I don't think I can ever go back to regular blinds. I'll leave some links in the description if you guys want to check this out. But having smart blinds integrated into your smart home is just an absolute game changer. Being able to control them with my voice, being able to control them with different scenes. If I want to pick up my iPhone, my iPad, or whatever, I can just create a scene, and then from there on, I can click the scene or I can control it with my voice, and I don't ever have to go up to the blinds and, you know, turn this little stick. I can control all the blinds at once or control them individually, and I never have to get up. So these are the smart blinds from SmartWave. All right, guys, well, that is going to conclude it for my very modest living room setup for 2026. This might look a little bit different in the future. As I said, these JTR speakers are going to be going away at some point, so I am going to have to find something else to replace those with. But for the time being, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think about some of this equipment. Are you using some of the same equipment? What do you guys think about JTR? And share what you're using in your living room. I know some of you guys don't have a dedicated home theater. Maybe you have like a dedicated space in your living room or media room, and some of you guys have some crazy living room setups. So let me know down in the comments what you're using in your living room setup. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.